I reincarnated as a villain who rejected her 99 times. The last thing I remember was older sister throwing a novel at my face. Read it. No. Read it. I don't even like romance novels. You will thank me later. I never did. After being forced to listen to her rant about story for 3 straight hours, I finally gave up and read the entire thing in a single night. The novel was called The Rose of Eternity, a ridiculously popular romance story. The female lead, Elena Ashford, was kind, beautiful, talented, and impossible loyal. The male lead was some perfect prince who appeared halfway through the story. And then there was the villain, Damien Blackwood, a rich young master from one of the most powerful families in the empire, a complete jerk. The worst part, Elena loved him for no reason whatsoever. She confessed once, rejected, twice, rejected, 10 times, rejected, 50 times, rejected, 90 times, rejected. Yet she still smiled and continued loving him. Even while Damien mocked her in front of nobles, even while he ignored her letters, even while he broke her heart again and again, eventually she gave up. Then the male lead appeared. They fell in love. Damien lost everything. The end. I remember closing the novel and thinking, that guy deserves every bad thing that happened to him. Then I went to sleep and woke up as him. You have got to be kidding me. A luxurious bedroom, silk curtain, golden chandelier, a body that definitely wasn't mine, and a reflection in mirror, black hair, crimson eyes. The exact face of Damien Blackwood. The villain, the idiot, the man who rejected the sweetest girl in the world 99 times. A translucent blue screen suddenly appeared before me. Villain redemption system activated. Host identified. Damien Blackwood. Primary mission. Successfully marry Elena Ashford. I nearly cried in relief. That's easy. Then the next line appeared. Marriage condition locked. Elena Ashford must confess exactly 100 times. What? Current confession count 99 by 100. Host is forbidden from proposing before the 100 confession. Violation punishment death. I stared at the screen. The screen stared back. My new life had lasted less than 5 minutes before I received a death threat. Wonderful. Then another notification appeared. Ding. Reward feature unlocked. Treat Elena better. Receive rewards. Current reward 1000 gold. 1k gold. My eyes widened. A bag filled with gold materialized beside my bed. Okay, maybe this wasn't so bad. All I had to do was survive until Elena confessed one more time. One confession, one. Then I could marry her. Simple. Unfortunately, nothing in this world was simple, because the next day the girl who was supposed to confess for the 100th time suddenly stopped acting like Elena Ashford at all. Chapter 2. The Missing 100th Confession. The next morning, Damien Blackwood woke up with a strange feeling. Something was wrong. Very wrong. According to the novel, today was supposed to be a special day. The day Elena Ashford would make her 100th confession. The confession that would finally fulfill the system's condition. The confession that would allow him to marry her. The confession that would save his life. Yet, as the morning hours passed, nothing happened. Damien sat in the garden outside his villa, waiting and waiting and waiting. No, Elena, no confession, no letters, nothing. This isn't right. In the original story, Elena would have arrived before noon. She never missed a chance to see Damien. Never. Even after 99 rejections, she always came back. The devotion described in the novel was almost unbelievable. Yet today's silence, a transparent screen appeared. Warning, confession count 99 by 100. Time remaining unknown. Damien frowned. Don't tell me she is finally given up. That should have been impossible, at least according to the story. Suddenly, footsteps approached. A servant bowed respectfully. Young master, what is it? The Ashford family held a banquet yesterday. Damien looked up, and Lady Helena attended. His eyes narrowed, and the servant hesitated. Several witnesses reported unusual behavior. Damien's heartbeat quickened. What kind of behavior? She appeared confused. Confused? She repeatedly asked questions she should already know. Damien sat up immediately. The servant continued. At one point, she asked where she was. Seemed frightened whenever someone mentioned your name. That made Damien freeze. Mentioning his name, frightened, impossible. Elena from novel practically worshipped him. Even after 99 rejection, fear didn't make sense. Not at all. Anything else? The servant nodded. She reportedly said something strange. What? She asked if she was inside a novel. Silence. Damien's expression slowly changed. A novel, inside a novel. Those words sounded familiar, far too familiar. Because he himself had once asked the exact same question. After reincarnation. Interesting. The servant felt a chill. For some reason, the young master's smile looked terrifying. After dismissing everyone, Damien immediately opened his system. Ding. What are the chances another outsider entered this world? Few moments passed, then response appeared. Insufficient permissions. So there is a possibility. No comment. That means yes. The system wisely chose silence. Damien leaned back, his mind raced. There were only two explanations. First, Elena somehow lost her memory. Second, someone else had taken control of her body. If it was the first possibility, everything was fine. If it was the second, things would become complicated. Very complicated. That evening, Damien made a decision. Bring me Shadow One. A few minutes later, man dressed entirely in a black appeared. He kneeled instantly. Young master. Shadow One was one of the secret agents serving the Blackwood family. In the novel, Damien barely used them, mostly because he was too busy being an idiot. But Damien intended to use every resources available. I have a mission. Shadow One lowered his head. Your command. Observe Lady Elena Ashford. The spy looked surprised. Observe? Secretly understood. Damien's gaze became serious. I want to know everything. Meaning everything. Who she meets? Yes. What she eats? Yes. What she says? Yes. What she does? Yes. Shadow One hesitated. What if she simply walks around a garden? Report it. What if she takes a nap? Report it. What if she stares at a flower for 20 minutes? Report that too. Shadow One suddenly felt sorry for Lady Elena. Understood. The spy vanished. Damien looked towards the distant Ashford state. His instinct screamed something was wrong, and his instinct had saved him countless times in previous life. If someone had really entered Elena's body, then the real Elena might be trapped somewhere. Or worse, gone completely. The thought unexpectedly angered him. After all, the original Elena was one of the few genuinely good people in the entire novel. A girl who loved someone with all her heart. A girl who deserved happiness. A girl currently missing. Meanwhile, inside Ashford Mansion, a young woman stared at her reflection. Golden hair, blue eyes, perfect beauty, the face of Elena Ashford. Yet the soul inside wasn't hers. No way. The girl touched her face. No way. Her hands trembled. I actually transmigrated. A a wide smile slowly appeared. This was her dream. The world of her favorite novel. The world she had always wanted to enter. Most importantly, she knew the future. She knew every secret, every event, every treasure, every opportunity. And she knew one more thing. Damien Blackwood was trash. A complete trash character. There is no way I ever confessed to him. She laughed confidently, completely unaware that the real Damien Blackwood had already begun investigating her. Chapter 3. The Girl Who Knew Too Much. 3 days passed. 3 very suspicious days. Damien sat inside his study while reports from Shadow One piled up on his desk. The more he read, the stranger things became. She asked where the academy is. She forgot the names of childhood friends. She called tea coffee. Damien rubbed his forehead. This wasn't normal. The original Elena had been raised as a noble lady since birth. She knew every noble family, every social rule, every important figure in the empire. Yet, according to the reports, she acted as if she had suddenly arrived from another world, which ironically was exactly what Damien himself had done. A knock sounded. Enter. Shadow One appeared. Young master, new report. Yes. The spy handed over another document. Damien began reading. A few seconds later, his expression froze. What? Something wrong, young master. Damien slowly looked up. Read this sentence. Shadow 1 obeyed. Lady Elena was observed speaking to herself. The next line. According to her one words, she intends to avoid Damien Blackwood because she knows he is a villain. Silence. Damien placed the report down very carefully, extremely carefully, because he suddenly wanted to throw it through a window. She knows I am villain. Apparently interesting. The smile on Damien's face made Shadow One nervous, very nervous. After dismissing the spy, Damien leaned back in his chair. Now he was almost certain the person inside Elena's body wasn't Elena. A normal person couldn't know Damien's future role. A normal person couldn't know plot details. Someone had definitely arrived from another world, just like him. The only difference was he had reincarnated, she has transmigrated, and unfortunately for her, she was currently occupying the body of someone important to his survival. A system notification appeared. Ding. Hidden mission triggered. Protect Elena Ashford. Reward 50k gold coin, 50,000 gold coin. Damien blinked. Protect Elena? Ding. Warning. Original Elena Ashford's soul is unstable. The room becomes silent. Damien's expression changed instantly. What does that mean? Permission restricted. System. Permission restricted. System. Permission restricted. Damien stood up immediately. That was enough information. The real Elena was still alive somewhere. Otherwise, the system wouldn't identify her separately. But her condition wasn't stable, which meant time mattered. For the first time since arriving in this world, Damien felt genuine urgency. He left the mansion at once. 2 hours later, an elegant carriage stopped outside the escort state. Servants nearly panicked because the visitor was Damien Blackwood, the man who almost never visited anyone, especially not Elena. Words spread through the mansion instantly. Inside her room, the transmigrated girl nearly choked on her tea. What? Young Master Blackwood is here. Lady Elena. He requested a meeting. The girl's face turned pale. Why? We do not know. She definitely knew, or at least she thought she did. In the novel, Damien hated Elena, so why was he here? Had she accidentally changed something? The girl nervously followed the servant. Minutes later, she entered the reception hall. The moment she saw Damien, her heart skipped a beat. Not because she liked him, but because reality was unfair. The novel had described Damien as handsome. The description had not done him justice. Black hair, crimson eyes, perfect posture. A face that looked like it belonged on a magazine cover. Greetings. Damien spoke calmly. The girl quickly bowed. Greetings. Then both of them silently stared at each other, each trying to figure out what the other knew. Damien observed every detail, the nervous movement, the cautious gaze, the unfamiliar expression. Definitely not Elena. The real Elena would have already started blushing. This girl looked like she was preparing for an exam. Finally, Damien spoke. Have we met before? The girl almost jumped. No, really. Really? Then why do you look afraid of me? Her face stiffened. Because she couldn't exactly say, because I read the novel and know you are a villain. Damien watched her struggle. Interesting, very interesting. Then he suddenly asked, what is your favorite flower? The girl blinked. A rose. Wrong. According to the novel, Elena's favorite flower was lily. Damien mentally added another piece of evidence. The girl wasn't even aware she had answered incorrectly. For the next 20 minutes, Damien casually asked questions. Favorite food, favorite color, favorite childhood memory. Every answer was wrong, every single one. By the end of meeting, Damien was completely convinced this wasn't Elena Ashford, not even close. When he finally stood to leave, the girl secretly sighed in relief. But Damien stopped at the doorway. Without turning around, he spoke. Tell me something. The girl froze. If someone suddenly woke up in another person's body, her pupils contracted. Wouldn't that be frightening? The room fell silent, absolutely silent. Slowly, very slowly, the girl looked up. Damien finally turned around. Their eyes met, and for the first time since arriving in this world, fear appeared on the girl's face. Because the look in Damien's eyes seemed to say, I know exactly what you are. Chapter 4. The Soul Hidden in the Darkness. The moment Damien left the escort state, the transmigrated girl collapsed into a chair. Her hands trembled uncontrollably. He knows. The thought repeated itself over and over. He definitely knows. No normal novel character could have asked those questions. No normal person would suddenly talk about waking up in another person's body. Importantly, the way Damien had looked at her, it wasn't the gaze of fictional character. It was the gaze of someone who understood, someone who had experienced the same. Could he also be? The girl swallowed. A fellow transmigrator. Meanwhile, Damien's carriage moved through the city streets. His expression remained calm, but inside his thoughts raced. There was no doubt anymore. The girl occupying Elena's body was from same world as me. She knew the future events. She had knowledge of novel. She knew his original fate. Yet one question remained unanswered. Where was the real Elena? The night Damien entered the Blackwood family's forbidden library, the place contained thousands of ancient books. Most nobles weren't even allowed inside. Dust filled the air. Ancient magic circles covered the walls. Books dating back centuries sat untouched on massive shelves. Damien searched until midnight, then until dawn, and finally he found something, a thin black book. Its title was faded, but one phrase remained readable: On Souls and Possession. Damien immediately opened it. The further he read, the darker his expression became. According to the book, soul displacement was extremely rare, normally impossible. However, under certain circumstances, an outsider's soul could temporarily occupy another body, especially if dimensional interference occurred. In simple terms, someone from another world could accidentally enter another person's body. Exactly what had happened then Damien reached an important passage. His eyes narrowed. When an outsider occupies a body, the original soul is not destroyed. A smile appeared. Good, very good. Then the Elena still exists. But the next sentence erased that relief. If separation is delayed too long, the original soul may gradually fade. The smile disappeared instantly. Damn. For the first time, Damien felt truly worried. Because unlike the novel version of himself, he actually liked Elena. Not romantically, not yet, but as a person. She was kind, loyal, genuine, a rarity among nobles. Someone like her shouldn't disappear simply because of a dimensional accident. A system notification appeared. Ding. Host has discovered critical information. New mission available. Locate Elena Ashford's soul. Reward 500k gold. Damien stared. 500,000. The system rarely gave rewards that large, which meant one thing: the mission was important, very important. The next morning, Shadow One rushed into Damien's office. Young master, what happened? The spy's face looked unusual. We observed Lady Elena again, and something strange occurred. Damien immediately sat up. Explain. She left the state. Continue. She walked towards your villa. Damien nodded. That part wasn't unusual. Even if she wasn't the real Elena, curiosity could explain that. But Shadow One's expression remained serious. Then she suddenly stopped moving. Damien frowned. Stopped? Completely? What do you mean completely? She stood in the middle of the road, without moving, for an hour. Silence. What? Exactly 1 hour. Damien's eyes narrowed. What was she doing? Nothing. Talking? No. Walking? No. Sleeping? No. She simply stood there. A chill ran down Damien's spine. That wasn't normal, not even slightly. What happened afterward? Shadow One hesitated, then answered. She suddenly began moving again towards my villa. No. Then where? Back towards Ashford Estate. The room became silent. Damien slowly stood. His instincts screamed. Something important had just happened, something connected to the real Elena. A soul didn't simply disappear, and a body didn't stand motionless for an hour without reason. Unless two souls were fighting for control, the possibility immediately appeared in Damien's mind. What if the real Elena wasn't gone? What if she was trapped inside her own body, fighting, resisting, and trying to return? The more Damien thought about it, the more likely it seemed. Because according to the original novel, Elena's love for Damien bordered on obsession. The real Elena would never willingly stop herself from reaching him. Never. Which meant something had prevented her. Or someone. A dangerous light appeared in Damien's eyes. Prepare the carriage. Shadow One blinked. Now? Yes, now. Where are we going? Damien looked towards the distant Ashford estate. His voice became cold. To find who truly lives inside Elena Ashford. For the first time since arriving in this world, Damien was no longer investigating. He was preparing for confrontation. And somewhere deep within Elena's body, a lonely girl continued calling for help, waiting for someone to hear her voice. Chapter 5. The voice no one could hear. The Ashford state had never felt so unsettling. Damien sat across from the girl wearing Elena's face. The room was quiet, too quiet. Sunlight streamed through the window. Tea sat untouched on the table, and yet an invisible tension filled the air. The transmigrated girl forced a smile. To what do I owe this visit? Damien calmly lifted his teacup. I was concerned. She almost laughed. Concerned. Damien Blackwood, the villain who spent years tormenting Elena. If she hadn't met him personally, she would never have believed it. But that was exactly what frightened her. This Damien wasn't acting according to the novel at all. His behavior had changed too much, and people who changed the plot were dangerous, especially if they knew things they shouldn't. You seem different lately. Damien spoke casually. The girl nearly choked. Differently? Yes, I don't understand your personality. She forced herself to remain calm. People changed all the time. That wasn't evidence. Yet Damien Crimson's eyes never left her face, watching, observing, and analyzing, as if searching for something or someone. Finally he stood. I will visit again. The girl secretly sighed in relief. Of course. Damien walked towards the door, then suddenly stopped. Without looking back, he spoke. Tell me. The girl froze. If someone was trapped somewhere dark and nobody could hear them, wouldn't that be lonely? The rooms became silent. For a brief moment, an incredible pain flashed across her face. Not hers, someone else. A sadness so deep it felt ancient. Damien saw it only for a second, but he saw it. And that was enough. The real Elena was still there. The moment he left the state, his expression hardened. Shadow 1. The spy appeared instantly. Young master. Find every exorcist, spiritual priest, and soul mage in the Empire. Shadow 1 blinked. Every one of them. Everyone. Understood. The spy vanished. For the next week, the Blackwood family's influence moved silently. Experts arrived from every corner of the empire. Some were frauds, some were scholars, some possessed genuine abilities. Damon dismissed dozens of them until finally an old man arrived. White robes, long silver beard, eyes filled with wisdom. The moment he entered Damien's office, he paused, then looked directly at Damien. Interesting. Most people couldn't see past appearances. This old man clearly could. You are not originally from this world. Damien nearly dropped his cup. Well, the old man smiled. That confirms it. Damien stared. For the first time since arriving in this world, someone had recognized him. Not Damien Blackwood, but him, the soul inside. What are you? Damien asked. A soul reader. The old man sat down. I see souls. A long silence followed. Then Damien finally explained everything. The novel, his reincarnation, the strange behavior, the girl inside Elena's body, the motionless hour, everything. When he finished, the old man's face had become serious, very serious. If your suspicions are correct, they are. Then Lady Elena's soul may be trapped. Damien clenched his fist. Can you save her? The old man remained silent for several seconds, then nodded. Perhaps. A spark of hope appeared, but Damien immediately frowned. There is always a but. The old man sighed. We need proof. Proof? We must confirm that another soul exists within her body. Damien nodded. Reasonable. The old man continued. And if another soul truly resides there, what then? His answer was simple. We separate them meanwhile. Inside Ashford State, the transmigrated girl stared at the moon. She felt strange lately, very strange. Sometimes she heard faint whispers. Sometimes she felt emotions that weren't hers. Sometimes she dreamed of a girl, a beautiful blonde girl, crying alone in darkness, calling someone's name over and over. The same name, the same person, Damien. At first she ignored, but the dreams kept returning every night, every single night, until eventually she couldn't ignore them anymore, because the girl in those dreams looked exactly like her, or rather, exactly like Elena. The next night, the dream returned. Darkness stretched endlessly around her. A lonely figure sat in distance, hugging her knees, crying softly. The transmigrated girl slowly approached. The blonde girl raised her head, blue eyes filled with tears, and then, for the first time, she spoke. Please. The transmigrated girl's heart trembled. Please. The blonde girl's voice cracked. Give me my body back. The dream shattered instantly. The transmigrated girl woke up screaming. Cold sweat covered her body. Her breathing became uneven. No, the room felt colder than before, because deep down she already knew the truth. She wasn't dreaming. The real Elena Ashford was still alive, and she wanted to come home, far away. Inside the Blackwood mansion, Damien looked out the window. Tomorrow the old soul reader would perform the ritual. Tomorrow the truth would finally be revealed, and someone would be forced to leave Elena Ashford's body. Chapter 6. The Truth Meet the Soul. The next morning arrived far too quickly. Inside Ashford stayed an atmosphere of unease filled every corner. The Ashford family had received a special request from Damien Blackwood himself. Naturally, they couldn't refuse, not when it involved one of the most powerful families in Empire, not when Damien had arrived personally, and certainly not when he had brought one of the most respected soul reader on the continent. The transmigrated girl sat quietly in the main hall. Her hands rested on her lap, outwardly calm, inwardly panicking. The dream from last night still haunted her. Those blue eyes, those tears, that desperate voice, give me my body back. No matter how many times she tried to dismiss it, she couldn't. Because she knew, deep down she knew, something was wrong, very wrong. Across from her, Damon was silently. His expression revealed nothing, yet his gaze never left her. Finally, the old soul reader stepped forward. The hall fell silent. Everyone present watched him, the Ashford family, the Blackwood family representative, several trusted servants, and Damien. The old man raised a wooden staff. Lady Elena. The girl looked up. Yes, I would like to perform a harmless spiritual examination. Her heartbeat instantly accelerated. Spiritual examination? Correct. Why? The old man smiled gently to confirm something. The girl's palms became sweaty. Instinctively, she looked towards Damien. He simply stared back, waiting, watching, and knowing. The feeling made her stomach twist. The old man continued, there is no danger. The girl hesitated. Refusing would only make her appear suspicious. All right, the old man nodded. Then he began chanting. Ancient words echoed throughout the hall. A strange energy filled the air. Golden symbols appeared beneath Elena's feet. The atmosphere changed instantly. Everyone felt it, even those without magical talent. The girl suddenly felt dizzy, very dizzy. What is happening? No one answered. The chanting continued, faster, louder, and stronger. Then, a scream echoed through the hall, not from Elena's mouth, but from somewhere deeper, somewhere hidden. A second voice, a second presence. Everyone froze. The girl's eyes widened in horror, because another figure slowly began emerging from her body. A transparent figure, golden hair, blue eyes, a beautiful young woman, the exact appearance of Elena Ashford. The real Elena Ashford. The hall erupted into chaos. What? Another soul? Impossible. The Ashford family stared in shock. Several servants nearly fainted. The transmigrated girl herself was completely frozen, because for the first time she was seeing the owner of the body face to face. The real Elena looked weak, extremely weak. Yet the moment she appeared, her eyes immediately searched the room, looking for someone, only one person, Damien. The second she found him, tears filled her eyes. Damien. Her voice trembled. The hall became silent. Damien slowly stood. The expression on his face softened. For the first time since entering this world, there you are. Those simple words caused Elena to burst into tears, because someone had finally found her. Someone had noticed she was gone. Someone had come for her. The old soul reader voice echoed through the hall. The truth has the truth has been revealed. The transfigured girl stumbled backwards. No, her voice shook. No, everything she had convinced herself for began collapsing. This wasn't a game, this weren't a fantasy, this wasn't a dream. A real person existed, a real girl, a real life, and she had been living inside it without even realizing. The old man turned towards her. His expression wasn't angry, only serious. You came from another world. The girl slowly nodded. Tears formed in her eyes. I didn't mean to. No one interrupted. I didn't know. Her voice cracked. I woke up here. Silence filled the hall. I thought. She lowered her head. I thought it was just a novel. The old soul reader sighed. Unfortunately, his voice was gentle. It was never a novel to the people living here. The words struck harder than any insult because they were true. For her, this had been fiction. For everyone else, it had always been reality. The girl began crying, not because she was evil, not because she had intended to harm, but because she finally understood the real feeling the real owner of this body have felt at that time. The dreams, the crying girl trapped in darkness, it had all been real, and she had unknowingly taken someone's place. Meanwhile, Elena, transparent form, continued looking at Damien as if afraid he might disappear. Damien walked towards her, stopping directly in front of her. You endured all this time. Elena nodded. Fresh tears rolled down her cheeks. I tried reaching you. Damien smiled slightly. I know. I wanted to come see you. I know. I tried. I know. Those words completely broke her composure. Because someone had heard her, even when nobody else could. The old soul reader finally raised his staff. It is time. The transmigrated girl looked up. Fear filled her eyes. What happens now? The old man answered honestly. You return home. Her breathing stopped. Home? Yes, your original world. For a moment, she didn't know whether to feel relieved or sad because, despite everything, part of her had grown attached to this place. Yet, she also understood this life had never belonged to her, it belonged to Elena, and now it was time to return it. The old man began chanting once more. A brilliant light filled the hall. The final separation had begun. Chapter 7. The Hundred Confession. The hall glowed with brilliant golden light. Ancient symbols floated through the air. The separation ritual had reached its final stage. The transfigurated girl stood silently. Tears streamed down her face, not because she wanted to stay, but because she finally understood what had happened. For weeks she had lived someone else's life, borrowed someone else's body, received someone else's family love, and most importantly, occupied someone else's place. The real Elena Ashford stood nearby, weak, transparent, yet smiling softly. There was no hatred in her eyes, no anger, no resentment, only kindness. The same kindness that made her the female lead of this story. The transfigured girl tears fell even faster. Why? Her voice trembled. Why aren't you angry? Elena looked surprised. Then she smiled. A gentle smile. Because it wasn't your fault. The girl froze. You didn't choose this. More tears flowed. Those words hurt more than any accusation because they were true. Neither of them had chosen this situation. It had simply happened. The old soul reader raised his staff. The connection is weakening. The golden light intensified. The transmigrated girl felt her body becoming lighter, fainter, as if she were slowly drifting away. She looked towards Damien, the man she had once considered a villain, a fictional character, a plot device. Now she understood how wrong she had been. He wasn't a fictional, he wasn't a villain, he was simply a person fighting to protect someone important to him. The girl lowered her head. I'm sorry. Silence filled the hall. Damien finally spoke. Live well. The girl blinked. That was all. No anger, no punishment, no hatred. Damien continued calmly. You made mistake. She nodded. But you didn't do them intentionally. Fresh tear appeared. Thank you. The light consumed her completely. The, the world vanished. Darkness swallowed everything. And then she opened her eyes. Huh? A familiar ceiling, a familiar room, a familiar world. This is my world, her apartment. The novel sat beside her bed, exactly where she remembered leaving it. The girl stared blankly, then laughed, a nervous laugh. A dream. It had to be a dream. There was no other explanation. No one could enter a novel. No one could meet fictional character. No one could explain something like that. Yet, for some reason, tears rolled down her face, and she didn't know why. Far away, in another world, the ritual ended. The golden light faded. The transparent form of Elena Ashford slowly merged back into her body. A powerful pulse of energy swept through the hall. Then Elena's eyes opened, real eyes, her eyes, blue and beautiful. For several seconds she simply stared at the ceiling, then slowly sat up. The first thing she saw was Damien, standing nearby, waiting and watching. The moment their eyes met, Elena's lips trembled. Damien, her voice cracked. She immediately jumped to her feet, ignoring everyone present, ignoring noble etiquette, ignoring dignity, ignoring everything. She ran straight towards him and hugged him. The hall fell silent, completely silent. No one dared interrupt. For weeks she had been trapped, alone, unable to speak, unable to move, unable to tell anyone she existed. And now she was finally free. Damien awkwardly stood there, not knowing what to do. Eventually he sighed, then gently patted her head. Elena cried even harder. The Ashford family wiped away tears. Several servants openly sobbed. Even the old soul reader looked emotional. After a long time, Elena finally calmed down. She stepped back slightly. Her face turned red, very red. Then she remembered something important, something she had wanted to do before everything happened. Her expression became serious. Damien immediately felt danger. The system suddenly appeared. Ding! Final condition detected. Damien froze. No, wait. Surely not now. Not here. Not in front of everyone. Unfortunately, the universe ignored his wishes. Elena took a deep breath, then looked directly into his eyes. Damien Blackwood. The system window began flashing rapidly, violently, like a machine having a heart attack. Yes. Alina's face became crimson, but she didn't look away. Not even once. I love you. The hall exploded. Several nobles nearby fainted. The Ashford family looked embarrassed. The servants looked delighted. The old soul reader laughed. And Damien stared blankly because the system had just gone completely insane. Ding. Confession count updated. 100 by 100. Ding. Primary mission completed. Ding. Marriage restriction removed. Ding. Reward granted. Ding. Ding. 1 billion gold. Ding. Host may now marry Elena Ashford. Damien nearly got blinded by the endless notification. The system had finally achieved its purpose. After all this time, the condition was complete. The 100 confession. Exactly 100. Not 99. Not 101. Exactly 100. The system disappeared. For the first time since Damien arrived in this world, it felt strangely quiet. Elena nervously looked down. I know this is sudden. Damien interrupted. No. She blinked. No. He smiled, a genuine smile, perhaps the first real smile Alina had seen from him. It's not sudden. Alina froze. Damien gently took her hand, and for the first time in both timelines, the villain who was supposed to lose everything chose a different future, a better future, one he had fought for himself, one he had earned, and one with the girl who never stopped believing in him. The the Elena's eyes filled with tears once more. This time they were tears of happiness. Epilogue. The ending. Beyond the novel. 3 months later, the empire was in chaos, not because of war, not because of disaster, but because of one announcement. The Blackwood family and Ashford family had officially announced an engagement. The engagement of Damien Blackwood and Elena Ashford. Countless nobles nearly fainted upon hearing the news. After all, everyone knew their history, or rather, everyone thought they knew it. The nobles remembered 99 rejection, 99 heartbreaks, 99 public humiliation, yet somehow the two of them had ended up up together. Rumors spread throughout the empire. Some claimed Damien had gone insane. Some claimed Elena had used magic. Some claimed the world itself had gone mad. Neither of them cared. For the first time in very long time, they were happy. Inside Blackwood State, Damien sat in the office reviewing documents, or at least that was what he was supposed to be doing. Instead, he found himself staring at a certain blonde haired girl sitting nearby. Elena was humming softly while reading a book. Peaceful, comfortable, alive. Every now and then Damien still found himself checking, making sure she was really there, making sure she hadn't disappeared again. Elena eventually noticed. Why are you staring at me? Damien looked away. I wasn't. You were. I wasn't. You were. I wasn't. Elena giggled. The sound filled the room, warm, gentle, and real. A smile unknowingly appeared on Damien's face. The moment Elena saw it, her cheeks turned pink. Even after all this time, she still reacted that way. Damien found it amusing, very amusing. Meanwhile, far away on another world, a certain college student sat in a classroom, completely bored. A familiar novel rested beneath her desk, The Rose of Eternity. The girl secretly glanced at it, then frowned. Something felt strange. Every time she looked at the cover, a vague feeling filled her heart, like she had forgotten something important, something precious, something real. Yet, no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't remember. Eventually, she sighed. Maybe I'm just imagining things. Then she returned to class, completely unaware that somewhere beyond dimensions, the people she thought were fictional were living happily. Back in the Empire, the wedding day finally arrived. It became one of the largest celebrations in history. Nobles gathered from every corner of the continent. Even members of royal family attended. The grand cathedral sparkled beneath the morning sunlight. Flowers decorated every aisle. Music echoed throughout the city. Inside private room, Damien adjusted his formal attire. Servant nervously approached. Young master, what? Are you nervous? Damien immediately answered, no. The servant nodded, then looked Damien trembling hand. Of course. Damien pretended not to notice. Across the cathedral, Elena was experiencing her own crisis. I can't do this. You can. I can't. You can. What if I trip? You won't. What if I faint? You won't. What if? Her mother sighed. You confessed 100 times, Elena. Immediately become quiet. That's true. If you survive 100 confession, you can survive a wedding. The logic was flawless. Elena reluctantly accepted defeat. Soon, the ceremony began. The massive doors opened, everyone turned, and there she was, Elena Ashford, beautiful as always. Her white dress simmered beneath the sunlight. For a moment, the entire cathedral became silent. Even Damien forgot to breathe. Then Elena smiled, and suddenly nothing else mattered. Not the nobles, not the guests, not the empire, only her. Slowly she walked forward, step by step, until she finally stood before him. The priest smiled warmly. The ceremony proceeded. Vows were exchanged, promises were made, and eventually the most important question arrived. Do you accept Elena Ashford as your wife? Damien answered immediately, I do. Not a single second of hesitation. The cathedral laughed softly. Then the priest turned. Do you accept Damien Blackwood as your husband? Elena's eyes became suspicious, very suspicious. The priest blinked. Lady Elena? She crossed her arm. Before I answer, the entire cathedral froze. Damien felt danger, great danger. Elena looked directly at him. A mischievous smile appeared. How many times did I confess? The guest erupted into laughter. Even the priest struggled not to smile. Damien sighed. 100. Correct. And? Elena grinned. I just wanted everyone to know. The cathedral exploded with laughter. Even Damien couldn't stop from smiling. Eventually, Elena answered, yes. The priest nodded. Then, by the authority granted to me, I pronounce you husband and wife. Cheers erupted everywhere. Applause echoed through the cathedral. And for the first time, the story truly reached its ending. Also, Damien thought, because familiar blue screen suddenly appeared. Ding. Damien froze. No. Ding. Final system notification. Most successfully changed the original story. Host saved the female lead. Host escaped the villain fate. Mission series complete. For a moment, Damien felt unexpectedly emotional. The system had been annoying, manipulative, and occasionally ridiculous, but yet it had guided him here, to this moment, to this future. One final message appeared. Thank you for playing. Damien blinked, then laughed, actually laughed. The screen slowly faded and disappeared forever. Years later, the Empire remembered many heroes, many kings, many legends, but one story remained particularly famous, the story of a girl who confessed 100 times and a villain who finally learned how to love her back. As for Damien and Elena, they lived exactly as they wanted, peacefully, happily, and together. And somewhere beyond worlds and dimension, perhaps an older sister was still trying to force someone to read a novel. The end.